slides now. So the study that I'm going to present is a very, very, very basic and a small subset of a larger project that we are doing at our setup. I'm working in a pediatric hospital. So the topic that I've taken might not be of much interest to people who are working in a cancer setup in the Department of Pathology. But so this topic, this case, if it comes to someone who has no knowledge or no experience of how a post chemotherapy regimen bone marrow looks, for them this becomes something very interesting and something very important. And I will also in the end show my team and give a brief about what we are doing on this topic. So basically today I'm just presenting the various histomorphological changes or the cytomorphological changes that we get in the bone marrow slides that we receive in pediatric population who are being treated for pediatric solid tumors. They are being given chemotherapies, and we get marrow sent to us for staging and for analysis, or mostly for leukemias, that cases which are actually getting chemotherapies according to some protocols, and the kind of morphology of the bone marrow that we get in such cases. Ma'am, please change my slide. Hello. Hello. Ma'am, can you hear me? Yeah. So, yes, ma'am. So this page is just a basic introduction that hematolymphoid malignancies, almost all of them, they undergo cases of leukemias and will undergo a bone marrow examination to assess the disease load in the marrow. If it is leukemia, you will get blasts in the marrow. Lymphomas, you might get some metastatic changes in the marrow, or pediatric solid tumors like neuroblastomas, WIM tumors, you might get metastasis in the marrow. So we routinely get marrows for morphological examination, as well as then we send this marrow sample for flow cytometry and further molecular analysis. This is a routine practice in any setup which is dealing with adult or pediatric hematolymphoid malignancies. Next slide. So basically, I'm going to present to you is a very, very short descriptive study where we just analyzed 20 cases of acute leukemias. I have limited myself to acute leukemias because different type of hematolymphoid malignancies morphologically will show different types of things in the marrow. Commonly in pediatric setup, we get acute leukemias. A large population of that acute leukemias is acute lymphoblastic leukemia. So I have just analyzed for the purpose of this presentation 20 cases and seen, and after 1 month, and a baseline diagnosis was given in these 20 cases, and after 1 month of therapy, we have seen when the marrow comes to us to comment upon morphological remission status, that is whether the blasts have come down to a certain percentage or not, which is mostly less than 5%, then what other changes can you see in the marrow which you would not see in a non chemotherapy marrow, in a marrow for maybe megaloblastic anemia, or in a marrow for iron deficiency anemia, which you get for diagnosis, and which is the case with most of the setups. Next slide. So so I've just come to the results and I'll show you the images. So in all of our cases there was a spectrum of morphological variation, where I will show you in the table the few important points that one needs to remember as a pathologist diagnosing a post chemotherapy marrow, is that you might get some features which mimic a megaloblastic anemia marrow. So we call them megaloblastoid changes, not megaloblastic changes. They occur due to the effect of medication on cell cycle and nuclear, division, etc. But they look like as if the child has a B12 deficiency, but actually the B12 might be normal. Then we also get something known as dyspoesis. The word dyspoesis is very commonly associated with myelodysplastic syndromes. So you might wrongly diagnose a case who is a post chemo marrow with a secondary dyspoesis due to chemotherapy as a primary myelodysplastic syndrome, if you do not know about the changes that can normally happen in a case which has taken chemotherapy. So dyspoesis that can be in all the three lineages, presence of megaloblastoid changes. Then another very important finding is presence of hematogones, which are blast-like regenerative cells. And to an amateur eye, they may look like blast, and you might give it as a marrow which is involved with blast, not in remission or a acute leukemia, if you have no knowledge about this topic. And of course, then we have some other secondary findings like a lot of macrophages, monocytes, because post chemo cells die. And to clear up that dying cell, we get a lot of macrophage lineage cells in the marrow. Next slide. Hello, next slide. Can you hear me? Yeah. So basically, the feature of dysbiosis. Now, the feature of dysbiosis in either megakaryocytes or myeloid lineage cells or erythroid lineage cells can have, maybe you get an erythroid cell which has an opened up nucleus, three or four nuclear lobes. The cytoplasm margins are not round, they are very irregular, they have blebbings. So, this is dyserythropoiesis. Dysmyelopoiesis, you might get a band form or a meg which is hypolobated or hypogranular or bizarre lobations. So, that is dysbiosis. You might get a megakaryocyte which is very small with a hypolobated nucleus, but the size is almost normal. So, 15 out of 20, 15 cases were showing features of dysbiosis. One case, after this is all after 1 month, that is post induction therapy in acute leukemia. One case showed relapse, that is the marrow, rather than relapse, I should be labeling is that continuation of the disease or treatment failure. So, marrow still showed blast. Another very common finding in post chemotherapy marrow is that if you see the cellularity of these marrows, in pediatric cases, the marrows are very cellular. But if you see the cellularity, you will think that this is an aplastic anemia or a hypoplastic marrow. You'll get a lot of fat and very less hematopoietic cells. So 10 of our cases, that is 50% of our cases, showed that. And sometimes chemo might be accompanied with serious eosinophilic degeneration, which someone might think is necrosis. Some people might label it as TB. So we as pathologists need to differentiate between post chemo induced changes or a tumor cell with accompanied necrosis. So 5 of our cases showed degenerative changes. Next slide. So now coming to the subsequent images, I have a very short presentation. So the first image, if you see, first image shows a lot of myeloid lineage cells, but look at the lobes. They are hypolobated. They are abnormally lobed. Somewhere the cytoplasm is showing vacuolation. So someone who's not very well attuned with the marrow, which is coming to you post chemotherapy, might think this is a disease, which it is not. In the image next to it, it is a biopsy. You see all the megs are clustered together at the pointer. If you see the black pointer, there are three or four megs clustered together. And look at the background. It is very fatty and very hypocellular. This is not aplastic anemia. This is not some disease. This is a normal regenerating marrow in a post chemotherapy case. Next slide. Again, in the first image on the left side, you see the pointer. This is a very, very nicely regenerated marrow where the at the point is the low power image. What you see is a cluster of erythroid cells looking very megaloblastoid. I'm going to show this better in the next slide. In the image next to it, you see at the pointer a meg which is very small lobes. This is a biopsy image, and when we are evaluating the biopsy of a post chemotherapy marrow, we also need to keep in mind whether there is some abnormal localization of the normal hematopoietic elements present or not. Because post chemotherapy also in leukemias, you might get some changes which mimic MDS. So we have to be very, very careful in diagnosing a marrow which has come to us after a chemotherapy session. Next slide. Again, in the panel left, you see there's still presence of blasts in the cell in a marrow which has already been treated. So I'll take it as treatment failure. On the right side, if you see there, you see some very, very round cells in a marrow which looks very hemodiluted. So actually, these were hematogones, these were not blasts. So an amateur person, the panel on the picture on the left was blast, the picture on the right was hematogones. An amateur person might think that both are blasts and label it as relapse. So you should know that there's something called hematogones coming in post chemo marrows. Next slide. Again, if you see on the left image, you see some very pink fibrinous material. That is the serous degeneration, and it is otherwise a normal marrow. And on the left, the biopsy image, at the pointer you see a cluster of large cells. Those are megaloblastoid erythroid lineage cells, which might to an amateur eye look again like blasts. Next slide. So basically, the purpose of this study was, this is part of a larger study where we are, by using immunohistochemistry, trying to analyze the percentage of CD34 positive precursors in bone marrow aspirates where setup is resource poor and has not much, flow cytometry or access to that, or access to access to molecular. And then we are trying to analyze whether clustering or scattering of CD34 positive cells can help in predicting a impending relapse much before a flow can catch it. So this was just a part of that bigger study which is going on in the department. And the I've already explained why we need to know what are the post chemotherapy changes, because we have to label and tell the clinician whether treatment is working or not. Next slide. Ma'am, next slide. So again, the discussion continues. I have just shown a comparator where a lot of cases were getting dysmegakaryopoiesis, just like in our case. There were cases which were showing incomplete recovery. We had one case, there was a study where 10.3% of AML and 8% did not show recovery. So this is not a finding which is new, but this is a finding which is important to know. Next slide. Again, there are a lot of marrow stromal changes, so cellularity of the marrow in a post chemotherapy case will invariably go down, especially if it's after 1 month of chemotherapy. So you need to know all these findings to diagnose something as a post chemo marrow, and to not wrongly diagnose it as aplastic anemia, etc. Next slide. So, morphological assessment of post induction bone marrow is extremely important, as it is an important cytomorphological clue to assess whether treatment is effective or not, as well as to alert clinician of any impending relapse if it has to occur. Next slide. So, these are my references. Last slide. So this is the team, the pathology team, as well as the pediatric hemato-oncology team, and this is my institute. So I thanks the organizers for giving me an opportunity, and I conclude by saying that this might look like a very very basic study, but if you're working in a pediatric setup, then to me as a pathologist, I realize the importance of being a expert morphologist before becoming, an expert cytogenetist or a molecular pathologist. So thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to present.
Questions from the audience? Gaining further momentum